everyone. Welcome to the Play Choices Podcast, a podcast you hear. I'm your host, V.
Hi, I'm the co-host, Lucas.
So we're going to spend this episode discussing chapters 11 through 13 of Laws of Attraction, Book 1. This episode is not spoiler safe, so if you do want to avoid spoilers for Laws of Attraction, Book 1, chapters 1 through 13, please go read those first, and we'll be here for you to come back and listen. Additionally, I just feel like, I know we don't normally put a content warning on Laws of Attraction, but I just feel like we should for this set of chapters.
Oh, it was spicy.
Because
these chapters were spicy. Oh, they were really spicy, actually, now that I think about it.
Yes. They had a decent amount of sexual content. And I guess technically I could also put a content warning for, like, murder. I feel like we're past that, but there's also a lot of discussion of murder in this book. So if those topics do make you uncomfortable, I would encourage you to join us on a different episode that isn't, this one or anything related to Laws of Attraction. Let's go ahead and just jump into chapter 11 because I think both of us agree there's quite a lot to discuss here.
Yes, it's beefy.
It's beefy. So chapter 11 is titled Reasonable Doubt, and as a reminder, the default main character name is Quinn Michaels, so that's how we're going to be referring to the main character for the duration of this episode. The chapter summary for chapter 11 says, when the strategy for Marcus's trial gets messy, you do everything in your power to get the case back on track. So the chapter opens up in Gabe's office where he informs the team that they haven't found Allie's lover yet. With that basically being a dead end, Sadie has pivoted the strategy to focusing on Allie's secret relationship to manipulate the public into thinking that it was Allie's bad decision making that led to her death. So, out of the entire team, of course, Martin is the one who is a huge fan of the strategy and pretty much everyone else is against it. The team will argue about it before everyone leaves until it's just Quinn and Gabe. They'll argue about it for some time privately a little bit more, and then Gabe will assert that Quinn will regret the morality when Marcus is in prison. Gabe seems very regretful about the turn in strategy, but he does assert that he's not to be trusted with any sort of emotional decision making because it's led to him making some bad decisions and getting poor results in the past. So for 25 diamonds, you can learn more behind the story. Did you take this scene?
Now, I'm used to Gabe wasting fucking diamonds, but when I tell you Gabe wasted my fucking diamonds on this scene...
I'm telling you.
Oh my fucking goodness. He wasted it. He blue-balled me in a whole nother way. Like, never have I been blue-balled, just discussion-wise. Like, we're supposed to be finding out some juicy secrets because he over here like, oh my god, like, you're not gonna look at me the same. Go ahead, V. Tell them why he wasted our time.
First of all, before we get into it, I just have to say personally, let me just talk. I just need to be real for a second. I went through a journey with this diamond scene, and by a journey, it made me stop in my tracks and not read Law of Attraction for like 2 to 3 weeks.
No, truly. Like, I was so pissed. I was so fucking pissed.
Because we're in chapter 11. And, like, y'all have already been blue-balling me, which, can I just say, I'm fully off the Gabe track. Like, at this point, he has lost me forever, so I truly have no interest in learning anything about this man from, like, an intimacy standpoint. But it's just because, like, they made this huge deal where he's like, no, I can't be emotional. I have to be logical. It's gone wrong before. And I saw that there was a whole diamond scene to, like... basically explore Gabe's trauma, and I was just like, for what reason would I do this? What have you given me, Pixelberry, in the past that would show me that this is a good scene? And I just mentally, and it's so funny because, when you open up the chapter and you're actually reading Laws of Attraction, this scene is like within the first 5 minutes of the chapter.
First of all, literally, because the argument between the group and Gabe was so fucking long. I'm like, okay, it was so
long. It was going back and forth in the dialogue. Even the dialogue, like after they left and when it was just Quinn and Gabe arguing back and forth with each other, was still like really just like real back and forth. And I'm like, what are we accomplishing here? Like, we're just having the same conversation we were having 30 seconds ago. And we got to this point where it was like, here's a diamond scene to have Gabe open up, and immediately I was like, you know what? I don't care. I don't have the willpower to read this. I don't want to read it. I don't want to pay for it. I don't want to look it up on YouTube. I don't want to write notes about it. I want to tell you, I literally shut Laws of Attraction and did not open up this book for another 3 weeks until we literally had to record on it.
It was a waste of time.
I stepped away from this book for almost a month because I was just upset that this diamond scene existed. Like, that was where I was at mentally with this. And if you follow me on Twitter, at playchoicespodcast on Twitter, you will have seen my tweets of frustration about this. Because it literally did, like, I had to sit down and be like, okay, V, you're going to do this today. You're not going to close out the app. You're not going to run away from it. You're going to open up youtube.com because you're not paying for this motherfucking scene. You're going to open up youtube.com, put in Laws of Attraction chapter 11. You're going to find a gay player, and you are going to watch the scene all the way through. And when I tell you it sucked.
It was terrible. It was so awful.
It was not good.
I would have taken I guess it was in there, like the regular, like, flirtatious blue ball. I would have just taken that. Don't even tell the backstory, because the backstory was so irrelevant and so fucking stupid. It was so stupid.
And, like, of course it comes from Gabe's time when he was a public defender. Oh, I was Mr. Good Guy. I was fighting for the little man. And I got screwed over. Like, oh my god. So, when you take it, Gabe will reveal that when he was a public defender, he was defending a 19-year-old who was implicated in a hit and run, even though he was nowhere near the crime scene. So, the prosecution figured out that the victim of the hit and run was in many of the defendant's classes, and the defendant pretty much played right into it because he didn't understand they were trying to set him up. Gabe was able to save the kid from jail. So, when he's like, oh, it led to really poor results, like, the kid was fine. But Gabe is clearly scarred from the experience because he realized how easy it was to twist someone else's story. So he shielded the kid from the harsh realities of going to court and didn't press him for information like he should have, which resulted in the teenager not necessarily being prepared for the realities of how harsh court can be. And Gabe says that it's an easy choice to sacrifice a dead woman's reputation for a living man's future. Gabe will then hint to Quinn that while he can't disobey Sadie, he is low-key hoping that Quinn looks for a way out of the current strategy. So finally, in the car, Gabe admits that he feels something for Quinn and begins kissing Quinn. At the end of the ride, Gabe will say that they can't continue doing it, but he doesn't regret giving in to Quinn. It's just basically like, I don't know, the whole sob story, it just really wasn't needed.
Oh my god, it really pisses me off because at one point there was a line where Quinn was like, oh my god, did he really do it? And I said, oh, this is juicy. And he was like, no, he didn't do it. They just he said, my mistake was thinking that everyone in that courtroom would see how I see him. Sir, why are you a lawyer if you
don't build your case?
Exactly. And then the outcome of it was them being able to find footage of him somewhere else. Why did y'all not have that to begin with? Like, why was that not a thought in y'all's head?
Right. You should have been building his alibi from the beginning of the fucking case. And then the kiss at the end, I said, all right now. All right, get your hands off me before I call 911.
No, truly, because that would have been a tender moment if he actually told us something that was relevant to him actually.
That was deep.
Yeah, come on now, the fuck. He basically was like, I almost lost a case, but it worked out at the end. Like, what?
That's what I'm like, what does it matter? It would make more sense if he was like, you know what, I fucked up so bad that 19-year-old ended up spending like, he got a sentence of like however many years, and like we had to go back and like petition the court to like look at the case again. That would make more sense if he was like, I fucked up so bad that I ended up sending my client to jail, and I had to like double down and get him out of jail, so that way he could still get the happy ending, but it would be like more meaningful why he was so scarred from it. But it's like, you still were able to scramble at the end of the case and, like, do what you were supposed to do. So, like, it's just not it's not the drama I was looking for.
Not at all. It did not give what it was supposed to give. And when he tapped the top of that car, I said, thank you. Take me back to the office. Let me do some real work because...
Yeah. Take me back. Please. Let me go be an actual fucking attorney.
There are, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 senior attorneys. Why can't I just do my own investigation? You have enough people to try to find your way. Like, this whole idea of, like, get behind me or get out type shit. Like, I'm like, okay, if everyone, including Sadie, knows that this is a weak-ass defense, why are we all putting our resources into it? Like, why can't I venture out and find a better fucking damn defense? Y'all make my man go to jail.
Well,
I'm sorry. I foreshadowed.
We saw what happened. In chapter 13. So, I'll just leave it at
We'll
that.
go get there.
Apparently,
Yeah,
the team is not to be trusted with individual
we are
decisions.
going to get there. It is,
So,
guys, these next 3 chapters are truly a fucking roller coaster.
so filled with drama. I mean, I know the beginning diamond scene with Gabe, you're like, who gives a fuck? But the rest of it is actually pretty good. There's actually some traction going on in the rest of the chapters. So, after the diamond scene, Quinn will go back into the office and will begin looking into an alternate strategy. Quinn calls Bella, who's a sex symbol that is friends with Marcus, the medical examiner, and Allie's staff, but none of them are any angles that they can use to win the case. The key details that we do learn from those conversations are that Bella says they had food delivered and the food delivery driver was allowed in. We learn that Allie died from a single gunshot to the chest, so whoever killed her was likely a good shot. And we learn that Allie really loved her privacy. So we don't really get that much details from continuing to, like, ask more witnesses. Ashlyn will walk in and offer to team up with Quinn to find a breakthrough in the case for 20 diamonds. Now this scene, Ashlyn's my bitch. She's my bitch. Let me tell you.
Okay. When I tell you her character development, not much show because, like, again,
Right.
they don't focus on the
Yeah.
other attorneys that we work with. Like, not really, right? We get little backstory here and there, but
So good.
Ashlyn's fucking character development in the entirety of
Beautiful.
Laws of Attraction, chef's kiss.
Beautiful. Let me tell you. Oh my god. The way that Ashlyn and Quinn they team. Oh my god, that's my girlfriend.
That's my babe.
girlfriend.
Look at her go. Look at her go. Well, I haven't made a move on her yet. I just,
Oh,
we'll talk about it.
I'm just saying, between the diamond scene with Gabe and this diamond scene, I was like, and this is exactly why I chose a team back in chapter 8. That's exactly why I chose a team, I chose a side, and I think I'm choosing the winning side. Because Ashlyn, oh my god, this motherfucking scene was so good. So obviously, we both took it, because me and you have talked about wanting to remain up higher in the
Absolutely.
ranks. And I definitely took it
Yeah.
because I love Ashlyn. So, during that scene, Ashlyn will point out that she thinks it's odd that no one has seen footage of that night since there were cameras all over the mansion. Quinn knows that since there was a delivery driver, that should count as unusual activity, so the footage should have been logged. So then Quinn will talk to the morning security guard again, who does admit that he deleted the footage because someone told him that Allie wanted it deleted so the footage didn't hit the tabloids. Again, you know what? I'm skipping ahead, but there is a moment where Martin starts yelling at the security guard, and I'm kind of with him. Because, like, why would you delete that footage if it's a voice you don't even recognize?
Truly, like, oh my god, just the amount of things that people do out of no type of evidence, truly just mind-boggling to me. Like, just
No
no logic
logic.
at all. Like,
Just panicking, just straight panicking. It's like, what the? And you didn't want to tell us this, that you deleted it, and then we've been looking for footage for how long we working on this fucking case? We've been asking someone for footage, and this man has not been like, oh, by the way, we have cloud backup.
and then even when he, like, there's a moment where he was like, oh, I truly forgot it existed. Why are you securing the place? Why are you head of security if you don't know the ins and the outs?
How did you get promoted to this? Give me your resume right now. I want to see how many years. I'm trying to see how many years. Are you new to this? It's just so fucking stupid. So, Quinn is able to convince the guard to give them the cloud footage, which fortunately was not deleted. And then later, Quinn and Ashlyn will present the footage showing their newest suspect, and it also has video evidence that Marcus didn't leave the pool house until after 10:45 p.m. So with this new footage, Sadie officially announces that they are switching strategies. So that is the end of chapter 11. Okay, so let's move on to chapter 12 called Probative Value. The chapter summary says your next big break in the case sends you back to LA, but when the fire gets hot, can you take the heat? So the chapter will open up with the team discussing the footage. Ultimately, the footage is too grainy to present in court as the saving grace. Sadie orders the team to find more info on this new suspect, and that will prompt them to go back to LA. Once in LA, Gabe will tell the team to enjoy a night off, and the team can go to dinner together for 17 diamonds. Did you take this?
Absolutely, because I just love team dynamics. Like, it's
Yes.
just, I'm trying
I
to
fucking
tell
love these team
you,
scenes. They are so good. Oh my god, they have mastered the group dynamic in this
absolutely.
fucking book.
And this
I'm
is
telling
why
you.
Laws of Attraction got, like, a chokehold when it comes to diamonds,
Uh-huh.
because even the scenes with Gabe, like, are they blue ball? Yes, but do they more often than not help you advance in the competition? Also, yes.
Yes.
And then every scene with Ashlyn helps you advance in the competition, and then I just admire the group dynamic so well, and that also helps you advance in the competition. So I'm just like, almost every
Mm-hmm.
fucking Diamond scene, I'm like, yes, 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 thank you, yes, yes.
Yeah, it's like if you aren't convinced by the characters in it, you're going to be convinced by the fact that there's a clue. And if you're convinced by neither, then the book isn't for you, frankly, as far as I'm
Absolutely,
concerned.
absolutely. And this was a juicy ass fucking clue.
Oh, it was so good. And can I just say something that oh my god, this has to be the most unprofessional set of chapters I've ever seen in my life. Because when I tell you that Quinn was out here discussing the case with
Everybody,
everybody and
just
anybody
everybody,
that
anybody.
they could. Before we get on with the rest of the episode, let me interrupt with some plugs. You can leave us a voice message at anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/message. It could show up in a future episode. You can also directly support this podcast by going to anchor.fm/play-choices-podcast/support, which will allow you to support us on a monthly basis. You can also go to streamlabs.com/playchoicespodcast/tip to make a one-time tip. All of these links will also be available in the episode description. Thank you for your support, and let's get back to the episode.
And also, like, the way I should have known that they made Ashlyn to be like of Asian descent, but I just feel like they whitewashed her at the same time because why her name Ashlyn? Like, I just feel, I don't know. Maybe she's half Asian descent.
Do we get any confirmation about her being of Asian descent, or are you just guessing that?
Her grandparents live in Japan,
Well, is that enough evidence?
and her last
There's
name
a lot
too.
of expats. Yeah, Tanaka, you're right. I don't know if she could be mixed. I suppose, I feel like there's a lot of, like, children of immigrant parents who come over to the U.S. that, like, have a very
That's
American
true.
name.
That's
So
a
I feel like
very
that's
fair point.
standard for
Yeah.
children. Like, I feel like it can really go either way, because you can meet someone with, like, a very, like, not American name, and they're like, oh, yeah, well, you know, my parents are, like, really married to the culture, so, like, even though, like, they had me here, and I've only ever, like, visited that country, they still wanted, from, like, a heritage standpoint, to give me a name, and then there's some parents who just give their children, like, an American name so they can assimilate, so I think it could go either way. When did was that the only thing that came up?
Yeah.
Like her grandparents being in Japan?
Like, literally, like, when
Okay.
she brought it up and then she started speaking Japanese, I was like, where's this coming from? And then I looked at her last name and I was like, oh, snap. And then I looked at the context clues and I was like, wow, I really did not put two and two together just because, like, I was so focused on that first name, Ashlyn, that I would have never thought.
Well, honestly, I really like that they did that, because I feel like sometimes when they try to point, like, there are some books, I'm not saying that Pixelberry does this, I'm just saying in general, a lot of time when writers introduce, like, a character who has, like, kind of like a multicultural background, they, like, make it their entire personality. So I like the fact that they, like, built a personality for her where, like, obviously her culture is important to her, like, she's talking about the food from when she visited her grandparents, she knows how to speak Japanese, and it's in her name, so, like,
Right.
obviously, like, culturally she's very ingrained with it, but, like, I don't really like when and I don't know who wrote this book, right? I have no idea who wrote this book. I don't know what the diversity makeup of the writing team who wrote this book, but, like, sometimes it'd be like a group of non-diverse, and by that I mean all white team, that make these immigrants that are just, like, their entire personality is just being an immigrant. And it's like, okay, not every immigrant is like that. Like, there are some immigrants who are so ingrained in their culture that, like, it is like a decent part of their personality, because obviously you're a person who's coming from one culture to another, and that is a very shocking experience. But, like, I like that they were just like, oh yeah, she just so happens to be Japanese.
Yes, I agree with that.
But she's just a part of the rest of the team. Like, it's not her
it does
whole
shine
personality.
through at a good moment in this diamond scene, right? Like, they are going through it's
it
very
feels natural. It feels like it, like, authentically came up.
They're not going to a steakhouse and she's like, hey guys, let me speak Japanese to you. Like, no, like, that's not what happened.
Right. They're not at a pizza parlor. Like, and she's just, like, speaking
trying to
Japanese.
order in Japanese, like, oh, you didn't understand me? Oh, my bad. Okay, I guess I'll just get a pepperoni pizza. Like, no, it was very authentic to the scene.
Okay, I'm sorry. That was just such a random aside. I was like, where is this coming from in the dialogue? And you see, they did it so well that I didn't even like, I didn't feel the need to write it down and like make fun of it because it was just so natural in the dialogue. And that's what I'm saying. I love the dialogue and the group dynamic that comes with it because it's like we learn little things about the characters, but it doesn't become like the whole character's personality. They're still allowed to be like a well-rounded individual without making like one trait. There's a certain, oh my god, there's a certain word for that, but there is a phrase used to describe when like you take one trait of a character that people really hang on to or they think is entertaining or funny, and they make that like their whole personality. There's a phrase for that, and I'm glad that they didn't do it with any of these characters because these characters, they really do feel like real people.
They do. They really
They feel
do.
like real people.
Even Gigi in the diamond scene, we're gonna talk about it, but like, it is just so like these are real fucking people, and it goes from like. I feel like I know them, V. You know, you feel me? Like, I really feel like I know them.
Okay, let's get back on track and discuss the course of the diamond scene. So, while at dinner, the team will discuss the case, and the chef will overhear. This is where shit gets unprofessional because they're like, yeah, we're here working on this, and this is what we know so far. It's doing this to everybody. Like, it was driving me fucking nuts. It's like, I know we're skipping ahead, but like, if Sadie's mad about us telling stuff to Marcus, could you imagine how upset she would be if she found out that we told the chef and a PI? My God.
That the chef did anonymous leak to like TMZ because we was talking about it.
Yeah, like come on. So the chef will comment that she used to work at a hotel where Allie came in often, and she was never with Marcus. The chef knows that Allie was involved in an incident in the hotel that resulted in her not coming to the hotel anymore. They decide to visit the hotel's restaurant later after hearing that news. And then afterwards, Gigi will prompt the team to stop talking about work, and she will want to play a version of Fuck, Marry, Kill. I can't remember exactly what she named it, but obviously they didn't use the word Fuck, Marry, Kill because that would be inappropriate to use in a Choices book. So Gigi will go around the table until it lands on Quinn and ask Quinn to rank Sadie, Gabe, and Ashlyn. So basically, who are you going to fuck, marry, kill? So who did you choose?
Okay, listen, I still chose to marry Gabe.
Oh, God. See? Oops, I'm sorry. Did you hear that?
He can blue ball me in our marriage.
You know what? Some people just have a fetish for being disappointed, you guys. We just have to let him enjoy what he wants to enjoy.
Feet is a no-go, but you give me disappointment, I'm gonna eat that up, okay? And I chose to, fuck Ashlyn and Sadie. She could get the boot.
I chose to fuck Sadie. Like I said, I'm pretty sure we alluded to this to an earlier, episode, but I think Sadie would be an interesting lay. So I'd want to see that. Bo was horrified when I said that. Bo did not like that answer. He really didn't. He didn't like it. Which I don't blame him, but it's not my fault you have a hot aunt, That's not my issue. And then I dumped Gabe. No one's surprised I married Ashlyn. And she, did a little blush. She did a little blush at the table. It was cute and whatnot. So, I'm pleased with my decision. I hold no guilt. I hold no shame. Oh my God, my two favorite quotes from the scene. Gigi said, "Come on, everyone knows I'd fuck every single one of you if I could. As far as I'm concerned, it's just due diligence."
Absolutely.
And then after Quinn says that they would fuck Sadie, Bo says, "Can we please move on? So we're not talking about sex with my aunt." Oh, I love watching Bo squirm. I really do, that little fucker. Okay, so the next morning, Quinn will receive a text from Tyler. Tyler is the firefighter from a few chapters ago. Tyler noticed that Quinn is in LA thanks to social media posts and happens to be in town too as he's visiting a friend. Tyler will invite Quinn to drinks later on that night. So then the team will head over to Allie's mansion and they'll meet with Marcus, who seems very hopeful for the first time since the case started. The team tries to get details out of Marcus on who their suspect could be, but Marcus seems to not really know anyone since Allie had a very tight inner circle and apparently none of their friends knew that they weren't still together. We learn that Allie volunteered a lot in her free time, and Gabe decides that it's worthwhile to look into her volunteering as a place she could have met this guy. So, you can join Gabe in this investigation for 18 diamonds. I'm assuming you took this.
I did, to get ahead in the competition? Absolutely.
Is that the only reason?
Listen, my expectations for, Gabe, doing anything romantic with me are just
Mm,
to the fucking ground. At this point, I'm so focused on the
uh-huh.
conversation.
You're like, if he just breathes on my knuckles, I'll be happy. So I also took it like you said, I'm very very inclined to get more information on this investigation. So during this diamond scene, Gabe and Quinn will visit an after-school program where Allie volunteered. Gabe will show a volunteer a picture of the suspect, but they don't recognize him. Quickly, the two are interrupted by two kids who think Gabe is a volunteer as well. Gabe is surprisingly good with the kids, which is kind of endearing. Like, I will admit, even for myself who doesn't fuck with Gabe, doesn't want to waste any time with him, it was kind of cute. We also notice that Gabe will slip the volunteer a check, seemingly to donate to the organization. Now, this part of the scene irritated the fuck out of me, because for some reason, like, Quinn made it a big deal and tries to be like, oh, admit that you're a good person. Which, like,
Oh,
when have we
oh,
ever gotten the indication that Gabe was
right,
not a
right,
good
sir.
person?
Like, and like, how many times does Gabe have to tell you that like he fucks with you, but he just doesn't want to fuck with you because he thinks it's gonna end badly? Like, it's completely different than like him trying to be like, I don't it even. Oh my God, Quinn was just so naive in this scene because even if Gabe was like handedly like, no, I do not want to be with you. I do not have feelings for you at all whatsoever. How does him donating money to a child's organization equivalent to like him having a big enough heart for them to be in a relationship? It doesn't. Like it doesn't.
None of it makes sense. Like, I feel like they're trying to have this, like, such a big, I don't really know what the right word is, but I feel like they're trying to create this big gap between, like, if you're a good person, you have to be open with your emotions and feelings and wear your heart on your sleeve. And if you don't wear your heart on your sleeve, you're like a cold-hearted bitch. But like, Gabe is someone, I mean, from the very beginning, he has told us that he was a public defender, and he did it for quite a long time because he feels like everyone deserves equal representation. He pushed the entire team to like do pro bono cases, like, for the entire fucking book, because he says that like winning these like big cases that affords a firm a lot of money does allow them to like lend their time to pro bono cases. Like, it's just so obvious that Gabe is like a good person, but like, just because he wears his heart, just because he doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve, we're now going to tease him about it. Like, am I supposed to sit here and believe that Quinn is really going to be like, wow, so you really are the good guy, huh? Like, when he's been acting like the good guy this entire fucking
Absolutely.
book.
Absolutely.
Just because he doesn't want to open up about all of his secrets
Mm-hmm.
doesn't mean that, like,
And
he's a
and
bad
my Quinn
person.
out here fucking any person who gives him a side eye. So and like we not sitting here talking about that with Gabe. So like, just shut up. Respect
Right.
people's past. Like
It's just so, like, oh my god, it's just so dumb. Like, I read this whole dialogue and I was like, y'all just using any excuse to just talk about a relationship with this man. Like, why Quinn gotta be all up in Gabe's motherfucking business? Like, Gabe got money. If he wants to hand out the check to check at every fucking charity you go to, why make fun of him for that? What, you trying to make him not donate? You trying to embarrass him so he doesn't donate? What kind of person does that make you, Quinn?
absolutely, absolutely. Now shut the fuck up and let's talk about the case instead. Okay.
Right. So next they will go to Save the Seas, which is an environmental organization that Allie also volunteered with. Gabe requests they look at their social media profiles since Allie did post a lot for them, and they noticed someone who looks like the suspect in one of their videos. But unfortunately, Allie didn't sign his name on the volunteer list, and no one recognizes him. So later, Quinn will meet Tyler and his friend Will for drinks. During that conversation, Quinn will get the idea that Tyler and Will have an intimate history with each other. Quinn also starts divulging details about the case to Will, which seems unprofessional. Like, why? When I tell you, when they started this conversation, and he was like, can you tell me more about the case? And Quinn was like, off the record, right? Like, yeah, bitch, that's gonna hold up in court when all of
Right.
this details leak. You're gonna be like, no, but I said it was off the record. It's like, it should have been off the record. I can't stand this bitch. Girls get on my motherfucking nerves. Like, for 3 chapters in a fucking row, you were going around telling people shit that they shouldn't know. Like, why? Oh my god. Loose lips seek ships, as we will see in chapter 13. Because it really does come around to bite us in the ass. Not this particular instance, but one in the future. So, I literally wrote, just so we can circle back on my comment, I wrote, this seems unprofessional, but then again, nothing about this book is professional, because, like, the way we constantly trying to fuck our boss, our coworkers, our witness, our client, like...
The way they just, like, fired Ryan without letting us know, like... I have
Yeah,
not
where
seen
is
him in
Ryan?
so many fucking chapters, and I miss him so much.
I wonder if he's gonna come up during, like, you know, because we have... I think this book is, let me see. I think this book is a 16 chapter book. So if it is 16 chapters, we literally only have like 3 more chapters to find him. And if we don't find him by the end of this book, then he's about to be MIA. He better not pop up in chapter 1 of book 2.
I know.
I don't want to hear it, Ryan. Because where have you been? Was he, like, yeah, it's a 16 chapter book. So, like, if he pops up in book 2, I'm gonna need him to be like, oh, I'm sorry, like, my internship ended.
Absolutely.
I'm gonna need him to say something.
I need him to be the new associate. He's been putting so much work in that he didn't, you know, I need him to be something.
Like, the way, again, we jumping ahead, but the way that they've pretty much brought back, like, the entire case from chapter 1, I need Ryan to get involved again. Like, I need them to also circle back and bring him back from chapter 1. Okay, and then... Okay, so to get back to the book content, Quinn will tell Will that they're looking for the suspect who volunteered with Allie, and since Will is a PI, he offers to help track the person down. The night will end after a few drinks. That is until Will and Tyler offer Quinn a threesome for 20 diamonds.
Of course I took this. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Before we continue with the rest of the episode, let me interrupt to share our socials. We are at Play Choices Podcast on Instagram, Play Choices Pod on Twitter, and we're also on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com. I'll post any episode notes relating to this week's episode on Tumblr. We're also available for streaming on all major platforms. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please rate and review, as reviews help us in the platform's algorithm. If you leave us a 5-star review, we'll read it on the podcast. As always, we are a growing podcast. If you see us on your socials, we appreciate a reblog, a retweet, or a share depending on the platform you see us on. We also love it when you share our podcast with your choices-loving friends. And back to the episode. Personally, I don't really find Will's sprite attractive, but, you know, I'm down to clown. Whatever. It's only 20 diamonds. 2 people for 20 diamonds? I'll take it.
How many diamonds wasted this to get my neck breathed on with Gabe?
Right, we already wasted 25, so 20 diamonds, it ain't a thing. Not for a threesome. Not a thing. It was, you know, it was okay. I don't know, like, I saw people making a really big deal about it on social media, like, when the chapter came out, but, like, it was okay. You know? It was fine. Did you really like it?
Yeah, no, it was, like you said, it was okay. There wasn't nothing, like, too, like, you know, wow about it, right? Like, it was, like, your standard,
right.
I don't know, it was just not special. It was, like, a standard threesome. Like, the way they set it up, it was standard.
Right. No, I like being able to, like, pick what you were going to do at every step, and then you could watch, like, Tyler and Will, or you could pick which one. I'll say like I said, I don't find Will's sprite attractive, so every single time it gave me the opportunity, I was like, Tyler. Like, in reality, that would have been a really sad threesome, because Will didn't get none from me.
He was an observer. He was a watcher. I didn't think he was all that
cute. They brought Tyler in, and then they brought Will in. I said, oh... When a really attractive person asks for a threesome with the average person, it's like, oh my god, okay, I guess I'll do whatever I have to see that dick again. Because we don't know. We might not see Tyler next week. We're probably not going to see Tyler next week after. That's probably the last time we're going to see him. So, I made all those 20 diamonds worth it, absolutely. So next day, Will send Quinn a background file on Allie. During a meeting with the team, Quinn will reveal that in Allie's background check was a filed police report complaining about a car break-in, where there was evidence that someone shuffled through the car. The police report reveals that Allie was with Peter Koenig, who is the CEO of Koenig Chemical from the beginning of the book. So here we are, we come full circle.
Mm-hmm.
Remember that daunting message in, like, one of the earlier chapters where Quinn was like, I just have a feeling that this isn't over. It wasn't over, bitch.
It was not. When that happened, I said, oh my, I literally forgot about it. And I know I should have just, like, kept up with it, but I deadass forgot about it, and it came back full circle, and I said, hi.
I was sitting here, because we were getting towards the end of the book, and I was like, when is this thing going to come up? Like, and he said Peter Koenig, I said,
yeah, right. I was like, say less. Say absolutely less.
This is the same CEO who's covered up multiple people getting sick and dying before, so I get it, you know? I see where they're coming from. I see where they're putting up. I'm not mad at the twist. It's interesting. It seems like we may get some justice, perhaps, for, the people in the beginning of the book. Maybe, I don't know how it's going to tie back. I don't know how it's going to get them justice, but maybe it will prompt them to reopen, the case, knowing that he's shady enough to kill somebody, that, if he's going to do it with his hands, why not do it through his business?
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. That is a fair judgment on his fucking character.
Maybe not legally, but personally, I'll count it. Let's move on to chapter 13, titled Prior Restraint. The chapter summary says, "You have a name at last, and it's a familiar one. How your firm proceeds could make or break the case." And the firm. So the team is still reeling from the discovery that Allie was seeing Peter Koenig, which is confirmed by the police report, details noting that they actually shared a hotel room. The team attempts to call Gabe to give an update on the case, but his phone goes to voicemail. Without Gabe, Bo will suggest that we tell Marcus new info. Quinn travels to see Marcus and informs him about the news. There is an opportunity to flirt with Marcus. Are you doing this?
Okay, so listen, I did not flirt with Marcus at first. But as the scene continued and that diamond scene popped up, I caved in. I said, "Come here, Marcus." I said, "I'll make you feel better." I did too,
yeah. Like I said, I'm down to clown. I can fucking, as long as me and Ashlyn haven't, DTR'd, I'll do whatever. I don't care. If we're going to be unprofessional, like if Satan's about to sit here and fire me, like let me actually do something that's a fireable offense. And fucking the client should fall under that list.
Oh, absolutely. But he was fine. He was fine. Okay, this scene, I enjoyed it. I did. I think it's because of the emotional intimacy. Because like Marcus is just like, "I just need to feel myself again. Like I need to feel human." And I'm like, "Oh, come over here. Let me help you."
I just feel like he's so self-pitying that I can't find it attractive. And then, like, I understand he's an actor and he has to be in good shape, but he's just, his body type a little bit too muscular for me. I don't know, it was just a whole combination of stuff that I didn't, it was like they took everything that I don't find attractive and put it in one person. And I was like, you know what, Marcus, like, I'm really trying to like you. I'm just taking the scene just for the shits and giggles, just to say that I fucked my client. I was basically marking a bingo. That's pretty much what I was. Like, I didn't really enjoy it, Like, the closest thing that happened during that scene, and I know we're skipping ahead because I haven't even gotten to the fucking diamond scene, but the closest thing that I enjoyed about that scene was when there's an opportunity for Quinn to look at Marcus and be like, Marcus is like, "What do you want to do, Quinn?" And Quinn's like, "I want you to be in charge." And he basically flips Quinn on, like, their back and, like, starts fucking them. And I was like,
that's exactly nice. What I chose. That
was nice. But
right. I said, you're the one with the pent-up aggression and, like, you need this more than I do, so you do what you want. And he did. He did.
Well, he was a killer. And you said, yeah, take out your pent-up aggression on me? It's a dangerous choice.
I would just hope that Gabe will avenge me and Ashlyn.
We still haven't cleared his name 100%. Okay, so I did flirt with him. I do think I have been picking, like, I don't really know. Here's the thing, because you can develop relationship points without flirting with him. So I can't recall. I'm pretty sure I did pepper in, like, a flirtation option here and there. But I think in general I tried to keep it, like, pretty, professional. But by the time I got to the scene, I said, you know what, sir, just let me see a nutsack. Just go ahead.
And it's kind of crazy because, like, I do remember the flirtatious options, but this scene still kind of blindsided me because literally right before this, when everyone's like, "No, Quinn, like, you have to be the one to go to Marcus." I'm like, "What are you implying?" And Bo was like, "Oh, no, I'm just saying that, like, you two are closer than, like, any of us to him." And then 5 seconds later, I fuck him. So I'm like, all right, okay, never mind.
Yeah, I know. It was so funny because Quinn was like, "Oh, no, I hope they don't think I'm fucking him," and then proceeds to fuck him. Like, all right, sure. So basically, coming back from the diamond scene, taking us back to where we left off in their narration, Quinn will tell Marcus about the news. Marcus is horrified and says that it doesn't make sense because Allie was a huge environmentalist and hated Koenig Chemical. He says that he's not technically jealous, but he's more so upset because he feels like he didn't really understand who Allie was if she was indeed in a relationship with Peter. So Quinn will end the conversation by telling Marcus that he can't tell anyone about the relationship, and Marcus will laugh bitterly. If you've been flirting with Marcus, he will proposition Quinn for 25 diamonds. Like we said, we both took it. We already discussed it at length, so I don't think we need to go over it again. After that sex scene, Marcus will open up that Allie hated Peter Koenig and complained about him constantly. And Marcus said that her hatred for him felt personal. So it's like interesting because we have proof that they were like sleeping in the same hotel room, but Marcus is like, no, that something's weird here. You know, it seems like there's a lot more to the story we haven't gotten to yet at this point. So a few days later, Quinn is back in New York. Gabe texted the team once to let them know that he was following up on something in LA and sticking around while they went back to New York. When Gabe does come back, he calls a meeting. Before he gets into the gist of it, Gabe does show us the rankings, where I was in first, Ashlyn was in second, so me and Bae at the top. Top two.
No, literally, mine was like that too. I was number 1, Ashlyn was number 2. Gigi would.
Can you believe Gigi's number 5?
Still, right? Still, why was I just about to bring this up? You took the words out of my mouth. I said, Gigi, what are you doing in this competition? Like, you was not wowing nobody.
Like, when she says she don't give a fuck, she don't give a fuck. And I know that Martin's heart is breaking because the fact that, like, he be trying so hard. And what was he in 4th place?
He be trying so hard to stay mediocre.
The only reason why he's not in last place is because Gigi don't give a fuck about this competition.
Absolutely.
Oh my god, Martin, just continuing to disappoint us all. I mean, I don't know if we really expected a lot from him, so maybe it's not a disappointment. Continuing to meet our very low expectations of you. Thank you, Martin. So Gabe will then reveal that due to security footage of Allie's home being stored in the cloud, he was able to find more footage of the suspect. Gabe is about to reveal who it is when Gigi asks him, like, hey, is that just Peter Koenig? And Gabe is frustrated because he's like, how does nobody here look surprised? And before they can really explain everything that happened in full, Sadie will barge into the office. She's angry because Marcus called Sadie to let her know that he's looking into Allie's boyfriend, Peter. Sadie is pissed because, number 1, Marcus knows before she did, and 2, she's mad about the fact that Marcus knows at all. So Quinn can either own up to telling him or keep quiet. I'm sure the outcome is the same no matter what. Sadie's pretty pissed. Gabe will attempt to take the blame, which Sadie denies, and then Bo will own up and say it was his idea, which I guess is like the writer's way of making up for what he did in earlier chapters.
I wonder if he only does that because you remember how like Bo gives you like a smoothie at some point, like you work on your relationship with Bo. I wonder if he only stands up for you because of the good relationship that you have with him now. Because we always took the diamond scenes for our own ass.
Like, I guess that's, like, a possibility, but to be honest, like, I think it happens that way no matter what, because if that was the case, then, like, I don't know how Quinn wouldn't get fired. Because Sadie literally looked at Quinn and was like, tell me why I shouldn't fire you right fucking now. And, like, the only reason why she doesn't is because Bo stands up and is like, yo, it was my fault.
True, yeah.
I don't know how you would write your way around that just because. And also, I do feel like when someone does something because you have a good relationship with them, there's, like, a little, like, notification that pops up on the top of the screen that's like, whatever title of the achievement, and then, like, your positive relationship with Bo led to this, yada, yada, yada. So I do feel like it probably does happen no matter what. So Sadie seems even more mortified that it was Bo's idea, but obviously doesn't fire him on the spot like she threatened with Quinn. Nepotism at its finest.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Oh, God. I mean, that must have been why he said anything at all, because he was like, I know this bitch not about to fire me. This was so embarrassing. This was so embarrassing. So instead, she says that they'll discuss more of it later, and that from then on, the team will need to get approval on every move, no matter how small it is, from Sadie or Gabe before moving forward. So we basically get put on, like, case probation. I feel like we're getting babysat on this case. Rightfully so, because Quinn running her fucking mouth to everybody. Everyone. So you know what? I couldn't even be mad. I said, you know what, Sadie, you kind of right, though.
Sadie would have been like, oh, like, all of you thought that it was a good idea. And I'm like, so why am I the only one? They forced me. They strong-handed me. Like...
No, literally, it was a group decision. And that's why Sadie was like, I can't believe you've been... Not a single one of you thought this, maybe we shouldn't do this. Even Martin lit that bow and was like, wow, you finally have a good idea, bud.
Yes.
The person who constantly disagrees and negs the entire team was like, wow, good job. Good job, friend. And Sadie will leave. Gabe is so disappointed that he sends the entire team home. Like, seems like y'all just all gotta go. You can't stay here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here pretty much. So later that night, Sadie and Gabe will call Quinn. Marcus is planning on holding a press conference in New York, and Sadie wants Quinn to manage it. There is a diamond scene to go into the office and strategize with Sadie and Gabe ahead of the conference. I will say, I can't believe that this isn't mandatory. I feel like if your two bosses, like, call you and are like, hey, come fix the giant mistake that you made, I feel like, why am I paying diamonds for this? You have to go, right?
Go.
You have to go. Why am I paying 17 diamonds for this?
Just like this is a conversation about one of the most important press conferences that the tabloids will literally eat the fuck up if it goes wrong. And the only reason why any of this is happening is because of you. You have to go. You have to go.
I can't believe they even thought for a fucking second that I wasn't about to take this scene. The fact that this isn't mandatory, like, oh my god, if I was Sadie, I would have been like, you get your ass in here, or you can pick up your resignation letters in the morning.
Absolutely.
You could pick one of the two.
We went ahead and printed your tax return for you. Like, don't
right. We already have all the paperwork you need to file unemployment, bitch.
Absolutely.
So, at the office, the three will strategize. Gabe and Sadie got Marcus to agree to not name Peter's name, which, like, oh my god. The fact that Marcus is about to go up there and be like, Peter Koenig killed my girlfriend is like, oh my god, bitch. Oh my god. Marcus, like, you give me a fucking... When I tell you Marcus is the definition of a himbo, because this man does not think before he speaks. He doesn't speak before he does anything. Like, I just can't. It's just so crazy because Quinn was like, please don't tell anyone this. And he was like, don't worry. Like, I've gotten used to keeping my thoughts to myself. Like, I don't tell anyone shit. And then what does he do in the next 24 hours?
That's a meeting.
He calls Sadie. And announces the fucking press conference to the fucking world.
Oh my god.
It's insane because right before you meet him for the press conference, he's like, yeah, the entire team's angry with me, and you can either be like, oh, don't worry, I'm not, or I am. I clicked I am so fast because, like, bitch, we pinky promised. You were inside of me, and we pinky promised on this. How you gonna portray me like this?
Now let's go over these fucking cue cards.
Right. He's like, but I said, no, stick to the script, bitch. Stick to the script if you ever want to see this pussy again, bitch. Oh, it's pissing me the fuck off. Oh, Marcus. Oh, I regret flashing him my nipples. I'm just so embarrassed. I'm so embarrassed. Before we continue with the rest of the episode, I do want to remind everyone that if you have any questions or comments that you would like to be included in a future episode, please email us at playchoicespodcast@gmail.com. Questions can be related to books we've recorded episodes on, books that we haven't read yet, or even questions you'd like to ask us. Please specify if you want a shout out, otherwise all emails will be anonymous. Alternatively, you can go to our Ask box on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com and submit a question. Just specify that is for the podcast and we'll be sure to include it. And back to our episode. So for the strategy, they will agree to let Marcus lead with an emotion because he's very good at playing to people's pathos, and they agree on a strategy to deal with the press. I think the strategy is basically like, what emotion do you want to play to? Do you want to play to his grief, or do you want to play to, like, betrayal? And then for a strategy, like, you can either not answer their questions or, like, answer their questions. I think I went with focus on the betrayal and don't answer their questions was the two that I picked.
Yeah, I think I did. Still focus on your love for her and full transparency. Let's answer some questions.
Okay, so we did the total opposite. Yeah. As I was picking the choices, like, I read the choices and I was like, oh, that sounds good. And then I listened to Quinn explain the choices. Afterwards, I was like, I don't like the strategy. I don't like it anymore. I was like, I don't like this. But, you know, you're locked in. And things go well no matter what strategy you pick. So at the conference, things will go smoothly if you took the previous diamond option, took the diamond outfit, and picked the correct dialogue choice. I don't think you have to do necessarily all three, but, like, there's a certain combination of the three that you can do. I'm not going to go over all of it, but essentially, if you pick a certain combination of those three, the conference will go smoothly. After the conference, Marcus will hand Quinn Allie's phone, and Marcus points out that her text to her brother seems suspicious, because her brother seemed concerned about Allie's well-being and asks her, quote-unquote, when she's going to end things. Marcus will say that they agreed not to tell their families, so her brother was likely speaking about her relationship to Peter. Gabe looks excited and says that they've been waiting for this type of evidence. The only thing that I will say that, like, The text messages were literally like her brother texting her being like, hey, are you sure this is safe? Are you going to end things? And Allie pretty much texts back like, I will end things like when the timing is right or something like that. So I'm kind of getting the feeling that like Allie was setting this bitch up.
Right. Absolutely.
I'm so intrigued, y'all. I can't wait to read chapter 14. I'm so intrigued. Because I feel like I really need to know what the fuck's
I need to know
going
how
on.
he did it. I need to know why, too. Like,
I need to know why. I need to know what the nature of their relationship was. I wonder if, like, she was digging, like, dirt on him, like, to take him down, and he found out somehow. Like, maybe she had a recorder on her or something. Like, it feels like maybe he was putting, like, two and two together. She invited him over to her place to try to, like, seduce him again, get more information out of him. And then he was like, hey, bitch, I know. Pop, 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 in the chest, and then he's gone. Skin juicy. I kind of like this little... You know what, Allie? The more I'm learning about her, she my type of bitch. I'm sad we didn't get to meet her. I really am. I'm sad that she's not character.
Girl, I'm glad we didn't drag your name through your mud. I'm glad for that.
Because girl, you was doing from the way that's starting to be set up. She might have been doing God's work
right,
out here
right.
a little bit.
She was heaven sent. Okay.
All right, so let's do rapid fire character impressions. Again, these are just very quick, right off the top of the dome character impressions that we typically do every episode. So let's start with Sadie. Bitch. I still have Ryan's name in here. I don't know why. I haven't seen Ryan in so long. I'm gonna go ahead and delete it.
Ghost.
I'm just go ahead and delete it. Gabe.
No, Gabe. Oh my God, fucking immature. Just immature. Like just a blue ball
He's
immature man.
My
That's
boss.
it. Next.
That's all he is to me. Ashlyn. Wifey.
Oh, I love her. She's the light. Yeah, she's the light of my life.
Bo.
Aggie. Thank you. Thank you for stepping up.
I guess he took one for the team, but like it's just kind of hard for me to respect it because I feel like he knew he was going to be safe.
Exactly.
Like unless
he told me to go.
Yeah, unless he gets fired from the competition like next chapter, like I don't really know how I really feel about that whole decision. Okay, Martin.
Pathetic. You will never be me. Stop it. Like just enough.
I just feel like this man has zero integrity. Like where do I start earning respect? Like or where does he start earning my respect is the question.
These last 3 chapters, it's either like, damn, I can't believe we're not dogging her, or hey Quinn, everything you're doing is for the competition. Shut the fuck up. Like will you focus on the task at hand, please?
Right. Okay, and then Gigi?
That's my bitch. That's my main. I'm sorry. I love Gigi.
I'll be honest. If they put Gigi as a potential ally, I would have a really hard time picking between Gigi and Ashlyn.
Oh, okay.
Like, I think Gigi just has some spunk in her. She's cute. She's got a little, what do we use? When we call people who have, like, a little bit of feistiness in them, we call them spicy, because she's a little feisty. Like, a little bit.
And I know we don't talk about books in other books, but she gives me Zoe vibes from Queen Bee. That's how I would, if they made her an ally, I think that's how I would.
But less of a sim.
Right.
Gigi's not a sim. I feel like she's an equal opportunist. And then last but not least, Marcus.
Our relationship was going so well until he betrayed me. Betrayed.
I just feel like he's continuing. You know what? Let me just sum it up like this. He's a pussy. I'm sorry. He's a pussy. He's been acting like a pussy from day one. He keep being a pussy. Like, I don't know why he thinks he's... This man keep acting like he's his own legal team. And, sir, you are not. You are paying a whole team of lawyers. Like, please just let us do our fucking job. Why are you trying to set us up for failure?
Oh my god, he's just a walking contradiction.
He's fucking annoying.
He literally said in the dialogue, Naked with Me, he was like, yeah, like, no, like, I don't mind that, like, she was dating other people. I just think that it's him that, like, bothers me the most, but, like, I'm not gonna say anything. And then just proceeds to have a whole press conference. Like, oh,
he's a liar. God. And And here's the thing, they keep saying, like, oh, you know, Marcus trusts you the most. Marcus trusts you the most. You're the one who has the best relationship with him. If we have such a good relationship, why didn't this man tell me that he was doing a whole fucking press conference?
That he was gonna do... Okay.
What the fuck?
Gonna go to Sadie. Now, Sadie it's a double homicide. Sadie mad because she don't even know what we know because we just flown in from LA. And now she mad about the fucking press conference. Bitch, you hung my career. You tore my career apart like you tore my clothes off. Fucking bitch.
Jesus.
Okay,
let's move on to bingo. Okay, so just to kind of catch everybody up, if you're new to our podcast, we do bingo is basically a series of prompts that we think are likely to happen based on the style of the book. This bingo in particular was made by Cass, who's a former guest. Her Tumblr is purelyfire.tumblr.com. I love Cass. She was a great guest. She was nice enough to lend us some prompts for the bingo. And so basically we just go through, we mark whichever ones that have actually applied to the plot based off of how far we've read up through the book. And we're hoping to get bingo at some point. We haven't gotten bingo yet. If you do want to see our bingo card, if you're watching on YouTube, it should be up right now as we're talking. And if you're listening on audio and you don't want to switch over to YouTube as a viewing platform, we do have this up on our episode notes on playchoicespodcast.tumblr.com. Okay, let's just jump into it. I'll go ahead and start with the first unmarked box. It said that MC can sleep with their boss. I can't believe we got to fuck the witness before we got to fuck Gabe.
That is so insane to me. That is so insane
it's just
to me.
Insane. We know we're gonna get there, but not yet. Next box says the opposition is friends with the judge. We haven't really ran into a case like that, really. The next one says MC gives legal advice to random people. Legal information. Legal information, not advice.
Fuck.
Pro bono lawyers also make a lot of money. I feel like we haven't really gotten to any stories like that. We have a tragic story of a loved one getting screwed by the legal system. Not a loved one. I mean, maybe just like an individual in general, but the loved one is so specific, I feel like we can't do anything with that.
Right, yeah.
Okay, then there's a misuse of billable hours, which, not really.
I mean, it has not been stated.
I feel like at the very end, they're gonna be like, Marcus, we firing you and kicking you out because of this. Because this man is just so desperate to get to the top. Like, I feel like he's gotta be doing some shady shit. Okay, and the next one says MC adopts a pet from client. We have not been given a pet option yet, so it hasn't happened. Someone's parents are in law, but they aren't passionate about law. Not really anything in there either. MC only has one long-term client for the entire book. I feel like we could say no to that, right? Because we have Marcus.
3/4 of the book, yeah. The rich daughter. We've had a couple of pro bono cases that have been wrapped up in one episode.
Right.
Yeah.
MC hooks up with an ally at work. No. Sadly. No. Lord, do I want to try, though. Well, I don't know. Do we consider, like, going over to Marcus, like, being at work, or does it have to be in the office? Because work is a very general term.
It is, but we were there for work, so I feel like we should have been But then no. That's definitely working. Yeah, that was definitely working.
We did the same thing with Tyler. So yes, you think yes?
Absolutely.
We can mark this?
That was because if we had slept with Marcus the night that we were supposed to like having a night out, that would have been different, right? Because like Tyler, like sleeping with Tyler, I wouldn't have counted this time because we were having a night out. Like we weren't even at work.
Right, but the previous time,
and the fact that we were at work when we went to go see Marcus, no.
The next one is MC has a lot of free time despite being a lawyer. I feel like the only free time they get is when Gabe and Sadie let them off the leash.
Absolutely, and when we can fuck someone that's not Gabe or Ashlyn, you know?
Right. Yeah. I don't know. Did we mark this?
I mean, like, I feel like the only real free time we had was the cabin, and that was still work related. So it's just like, it's very, I would go ahead, because
I just feel like the amount of times that Gabe and Sadie have been letting us go have been, like, so much. You know, like, in the beginning of the book, like, we had, like, 80 cases to juggle, and now we're really only doing one.
Absolutely.
Cause like they be going to dinner, Quinn be
Yes.
fucking and sucking, like there's just
Yes.
she got a lot of free
Absolutely.
time.
Absolutely.
It's so funny because like they had them working, oh my god, they had them working so hard at the beginning of the book, and towards the end they're like, you guys are so bad at this fucking job, just go home.
Yo, I mean, like, we truly bright and early got into that office, had one conversation with Gabe, and they said, go home. Y'all fucked up so much, we don't even want you in the building.
Yep. Okay, the next one is MC will get gifts from a client. Do we consider, unless that dick is gifts?
that dick got us some more information on, our main lead.
And got us into fucking trouble, too.
Oh my goodness. You know what? That cancels out.
I guess we should count it. Yeah, I don't
cancels out.
Okay, last one. Last one is a lawyer sticks to their moral code. I feel like
yes, we have to, because
I feel like there's multiple instances.
Yes.
Between like Quinn being like, we can't go with this strategy, like we have to pursue one, and Gabe's like, listen, bitch, I can't do it, but you can. That's like two separate instances, because that's Gabe being like, I will support you low key if you go do this. Quinn going to go do it. Bo knowing that he's going to be in trouble but still telling the truth. You can have Quinn admitting to Sadie that they did it, which is still doing it. Quinn going to Marcus, because Quinn's always like, Marcus has to know. Marcus has to know the truth. Like, I feel like we just need to market, because there's been so many different times that it's happened in these past couple of chapters where they're like, you know what? Fuck you, Sadie.
Yes.
Ladies, gays, and non-binaries. That officially gives us our first bingo on the bottom row.
Yay!
So, as a reminder, the ones that we marked that are giving us a bingo right now are someone will be cutthroat about the competition. There is a sob story about working pro bono. Oh my god, we got that twice, especially in this last chapter with fucking, or was that pro bono if he was a public defender? I guess not, right? Because that's not pro bono. Because that was his job.
Yes, that is his job. Yeah.
Okay. And then a lawyer sticks to their moral code. A lawyer does something unethical to win the competition, and MC can be cutthroat about the competition. So we officially have our first bingo for laws of attraction. There was so much that fucking happened, and oh my god, there was so much that fucking happened in this couple chapters. I kind of got whiplash from it. No,
it's truly whiplash. I mean, truly.
All right, well, I don't know if you have any ending thoughts.
No.
Anything you want to get in your
Sadie
system?
And Gabe, do better. Marcus, shut the fuck up. Let us do our job. And everyone else, just continue what you're doing. Martin, get off my balls.
I don't know. I disagree with that sentence, because Quinn can't fucking keep their fucking mouth shut. I feel like, honestly, I'm totally on Sadie and Gabe's side when it comes to the fact of, like, you all are dumb. Don't make any fucking moves unless I'm there to watch you, because they fucked up. Quinn done fucked up 3 times. You know what, actually, Bo should have kept his fucking mouth shut and let Quinn take the fall. Because Quinn done told 3 separate people what the fucking strategy was. 3 separate fucking people, and somehow only got caught for 1, and was able to wiggle out of that because Bo decided to be a white knight. Like, I feel like Quinn, fire her. Fire her, personally. I wouldn't want a lawyer like Quinn working for me, because all the goodwill that Quinn had built up over the past 13 chapters, gone. Because you made a dumb-ass mistake.
When Sadie comes into that room and figures out it was you, and she was like, you were at the top of the competition, now you're at last place, and then takes it a step further and was like, why shouldn't I fire you? I was like, oh my fucking goodness. I said, damn, Quinn, how the mighty have fucking fallen. Like, Jesus.
I'm telling you. And, oh my god, Quinn should have just been like, and you know what? I told the PI and the chef too. And even with the chef, because everyone was there and not a single person looked at Quinn and was like, baby girl, what are you doing? Why are you just telling anybody?
At this point,
just running your fucking mouth.
With Bo, it's nepotism. Just get a whole staff. Get a whole new 5 senior associate.
Get a whole new fucking staff. Y'all just, you need to restart the competition. Fire everybody, get new people, because oh my god, the fact that not a single individual looked at them and was like, bitch, I wouldn't want them to be my lawyers, all I'm saying. Marcus paying top notch, listen, I'm not saying Marcus is a smart cookie himself. I'm not defending Marcus's behavior. I think he's a dumbass, and I think a dumbass client got paired with some dumbass lawyers. And I'm sorry, but the few instances of, an epiphany that Quinn had does not undo all the unprofessional shit that Quinn's doing. I'm sorry. This is the least professional like book I've ever seen about such like a highly respected and like prestigious career. It's absolutely insane.
No, true.
But I'll let that be my ending thought because I'm just disappointed. That's it. I'm just leave it like that. Okay, well, thank you everybody for joining us for this episode. As a reminder, if you would like to follow us on our socials, we're at playchoicespodcast on Tumblr and on Instagram, and playchoicespod on Twitter. Thank you everybody for joining us.
Bye, guys.
Bye.